wondered what a swanky car looks like, for one, it's got to have such a hunkered down stance. For two, it's got to have such a sloping roof. You move into the front and it's got to have this, an avant-garde 3-barred chrome grille. Wheel wells so deep that enable housing such wide tires. This is the Mercedes E Class E220 CDI, making it all in all a design for the ages. Underneath its skin sits this incredibly large 2.1 litre diesel engine that produces a pretty respectable 170 horsepower, but at an absolutely thunderous 400 Newton meters of torque in this one. You can definitely be sure of getting all that punch the moment you put your foot on its pedal. The split headlamps in this E-Class have left the old gen's oval design, but they're still split, of course. Bi-xenons in each of these cutout, washers that go along with it as well. LED daytime running lights at the bottom here. As you look at the fender along the side here, it wraps down right below the shoulder line. That's pretty strong and goes all the way to the front of the vehicle, making it a really strong looking side profile. The tail lamps are beautifully wrapped around the sides. They're fully LED. And they've got such nice clustered bits in them. If you take a closer look, you can actually see each LED in them. Really stands out whenever they're pressed on with the brakes or they're on at night. At the rear end as well, elegance just oozes out of this one. It is the avant-garde, so it has some sporty bits that come along with it. The exhausts down here are fake. However, if you look a little bit deeper inside is where you can actually see the exhaust pipe coming out. You get 5-spoked 17-inch wheels with this avant-garde edition, and they're housed with some really decently profiled tires that do offer good comfort as well as grip on the road. On the hood, you find these striking lines that are typically Mercedes all over. The length of the hood in particular is something that really seems to add to this car's attractiveness. It slopes down so well. As you take a look from the side once again, you can see the stance of this vehicle is just so emphasized due to the length of this bonnet. Popping open the boot now, fly straight up. Huge amount of space in there. Acres is what I'd call it. Some storage on this side and here as well. Even that's been thought of from Mercedes. They've given you a nice hook to tug it open. You've got a full-size spare wheel right in there. Now that we're inside the cabin, I can only say it's so well insulated. Outside noise is almost non-existent. Feeling up the materials in here, it has to be soft as ever, isn't it? And it totally is. Down in the footwells as well, it is really soft. Around the infotainment, yes, soft again. So you've got these lovely glossy panels that run all along the doors, straight into the dash, and then moving on to this door on my side as well. We've got some glossy plastics all around here in the cabin. Glossy matte, that is the look that they've gone with. Silver toned AC vents make it really look rich. Chrome insert along this volume control switch as well adds to such fancy appeal. The AC control switches as well are so cool. It's a dual zone climatic air control system out here. And if I just flick this is so cool. If you just look how with the flick up it increases, with the flick down it decreases, as well as up in the infotainment screen up there. The buttons are so well laid out that even though this vehicle is now what, 6 years old, this one, it's still in top-notch condition. Double into the storage spaces of the vehicle. Popping up the glove case, you've got a split compartment here. It's good enough for probably 2 1-litre bottles if you ever think of storing water in this. The front seats in the E-Class are both electrically adjustable. They both got memory function as well as lumbar support. The central console region here, there's no gear lever out here because this is the avant-garde, so that comes on the steering wheel. Storage spaces wise, you've got a nice 12-volt charging socket there, an ashtray, as well as some removable cup holders. So it depends, if you want to use that as a cup holder, maybe your cell phone, you could do that. Locks in place just that way. And this is such a fancy storage compartment is what I call it. Right underneath the armrest, you flick this switch up this way and it pops right open. USB port in there. You've got some decent storage in here. You can put in your phone or any other of your personal belongings. It'll fit right in. To shut it, you just press it down this way, click on it, it comes up. Now the hidden storage is right under the driver's seat right there. So if the driver wants to probably pop in something, he definitely could do that out there. The infotainment system is a 7-inch screen that actually has these physical buttons to control if you wish to. If I press the system button, it moves into this, and now I've got this scroll wheel right here along the center console. If you look down here, that is used to control this display. And I go into settings, I can go in a display out here. I can actually turn this into night mode if I want to, and it just darkens up like that. The infotainment system also has a 6 CD changer that's right up here in the front. You can press this to access that option. You've got Bluetooth as well. Navigation, you need a chip for that. The steering wheel is a 3-spoked avant-garde design. It's got reach and as well as rake adjust. That's electrically adjustable. I really love the stock button now, the stock stick that comes out of here. You've got your wipers in it, as well as your turn indicators, all in one. You can even flash high or low beam from this. And here is the gear lever, which is so fancy in this car. If I just move it down, it goes into D. Move it one up, it's in neutral. You've got some nice steering mounted controls along it. You also got this really fancy Linguatronic voice command system, Mercedes likes to call it, that apparently does recognize your voice whenever you click it. The instrument cluster is so well laid out, starting off from your fuel level to this really classic clock, which I love. The speedometer has this really small digital display as well, and then you go down to your display, you can actually see it gives you some good information about the vehicle. You can actually even move it around, customize whatever you want to see. You get your audio information as well, so if I pop the radio on, you actually get those controls right out here. In order to open the sunroof, you just click on this once, release it. The shade goes along with it at the back, and then when you want to close it, press it down once like that, but you got to pull the shade back manually. The visors have vanity mirrors with lights. The door sills have Mercedes-Benz engraved in them. As you take a look at all of this finely stitched leatherette finish along the door panel. In the back seat, I feel I'm so comfortable, especially due to this inclined position that I'm seated in. You've got an armrest that pops down that way. Pop it open. The cup holder is actually hidden inside this, so I press on that and it just flips out like that. Cannot access the boot though. Headroom, decent, has to be. Legroom, pretty much luxurious. Other than that, you've got these lovely touches. The sunshade comes right in out here. Very business-like. An essential feature in a sunny city like we're in. You've got this storage space out here behind the driving seat as well as the passengers that remind you of those storages in airplanes. You've got a temperature control system even at the back out here. I can adjust the fan speed. Dual AC vents here as well as a couple of them in the B pillars, which is a really cool looking touch. You've also got a 12-volt charging socket out here. The 12-speaker surround sound system produces a thumping 450 watts of power, which suggests not everything needs to be business-like in the E-Class. The doors open nice and wide, enabling it very easy to get out of the vehicle.
This button operates the rear sunshade, and that black object you see up there is another parking sensor unit so that you could see it while reversing from the rear view.
There's no push start button in this vehicle, so you still got to use the key fob, push it in, turn it on. Driver's seat of the E-Class, seatbelt getting locked in first. Gear lever out here along the steering wheel, flick it down, we're in a D. Sport mode if we want is right down here. It's a heavy car, but the steering is so light at a low speed, doesn't make it seem heavy at all. Gear shifting once again in this 7G-tronic gearbox is so sleek, and it's effortless really. You cannot notice what's happening with the gearbox. It is absolutely authoritative on the road. And you can actually feel the chunkiness of those wheels when they bounce over bumps. Despite the car has got this large size as well, you can zip through traffic. You can move through traffic pretty comfortably. The engine does get a little bit noisy when you move it into sport mode. Being a diesel though, that is kind of expected. However, it's a good sound. External noise is non-present, very well insulated like I previously mentioned. Suspension is not that stiff at all, so it really understands what is coming underneath it. I also had to sort of floor it right now, and you can actually feel it revving all the way to the red line despite it's a diesel. The engine has a nice roaring note, and I do feel I own the road when I'm behind this wheel. So the car handles really well. The steering has fairly decent feedback. Visibility all around is great. The A-pillows are really narrow, so there are no blind spots in the front. The rear glass as well, if you look through from here, it's pretty decent. The wing mirrors though, maybe a little bit tiny, but they're just doing their job fine enough. The seats are really comfortable. Nice spongy feeling in the leather.
Big car or whatever, but the car's got a really nice short turn radius.
So the E Class at the end is an absolute car which packs in the meat as well as the muscle that you require. Put your foot on the pedal, it'll deliver. Ease it off the pedal, it'll cruise. Sit in the back of it, you're going to be enveloped in luxury. This is an absolute car that demands respect and absolutely gets it.